Good evening. This is Julz and Paekau coming to you from Auckland, New Zealand. It is 6 p.m. in the evening, Tuesday evening here in New Zealand, and this is my broadcast 62. Um, and I am a trusted seller here within the TBC community. And thank you, Hannah Duplessis, for coming along to my live broadcast. Now, I wasn't feeling 100%, but I'm good to go for the short time that we get to advertise ourselves here on our live broadcasts. Good evening, Bitcoin Scott. Thank you for coming along. Kia ora to you. Oh, you're awesome, all right, Bitcoin Scott. And I had something set up, and I'm a little bit in disarray at the moment, but we'll get there. So we've all touched on the subject of our broadcasting. Now, why is our broadcasting important? First of all, it helps you, me as an individual. I have to be able to display myself in a humanly generous way. No, that's not quite how it should be. It should be in a way that people perceive you as somebody to talk to connect with, to be able to hold a conversation with, or in general, just to get to know one another. And this is what doing our daily broadcast does for us. It helps us to connect. It helps people to know who you are. And we here, us TBC members, although I believe there's 20,000 plus people who've got their send buttons on, but still fail to get that urge to come and do their live broadcast. Good evening, Teokatai. I'll get back to you. Sorry I haven't gotten back to you today, Teokatai. Haven't had a very good day today. But we like to think here within our TBC community, we can relate to one another on a pretty good even surface, because we're all out here doing the same thing, putting out the smiles and talking as nicely as a broadcaster or an entrepreneur needs to speak. Now, we need to connect in a way that some of us, we get it quite easily, and some of us not so easily. So if you feel like you need that extra time to put a broadcast together, let me know, because what I can do for you is bring you into a Zoom room. I think to bring you into a Zoom room is to give you that, give somebody an ease of being in front of the camera. There's no pressures. There's no worrying about who's seeing you. Just getting used to being in front of the camera. I mean, you can do something in private. You can try it in private. See how you feel. Or you could do a tag team. We have one or two or more people on your panel, and this helps you to get the time through a little bit quicker until you're at ease with how you present yourself. Now, this morning, Mandy mentioned many ways of becoming a broadcaster. Now, Yes, he's got all the skills, all right, that's for sure. And it's always a pleasure to be in his broadcast every morning, or when he does the send button meetings. Now, although different members of his team, his top 10, have been doing an awesome job with the broadcast, and kudos to them, because Randy's used to being in that position and we're used to seeing him there. But like you said, there are many voices of TBC, and I'm happy to be one of them. As I stressed this morning, indicative of how I go about presenting myself, I'm always happy, like I said, to lend my voice in the broadcasting arena, because we all have our different take on how we're going to present our broadcasts, and we all do a brilliant job. Between Scott does his in his mother tongue, and Tukatai Williams has been learning to do it in her mother tongue, which is a brilliant thing. I wish I knew how to speak my mother tongue, but I'm not. I'm not even going to go there, because I'll just make a fool of myself. I know that for sure. So, me saying kia ora to you, Bitcoin Scott, and, and the rest, that's an honest hello from us here in New Zealand. And I know the odd word here and there, but I wouldn't be able to do a presentation in my mother tongue, through lack of. I think I'm over the idea that it was not allowed in my days of going to primary. We weren't allowed to speak our language. We got the strap at school until it was belted out of us, and then our parents were told we were not allowed. They were not allowed to speak to us in our language, and so they stopped doing that. They stopped talking in front of us. It was like if they started to talk, we had to leave the room. So I guess that was their way of protecting us back in the day, from getting the strap at school. And so they refused to talk in front of us. So that was the language lost. And now we promote it heavily. We now have it back in the schools. We're trying to learn our mother language, and that's going really well. And I know that if you do speak a second language, then it's only easy to pick up another language. Uh, because the Chinese roll their R's, they pick up our language pretty quick. And so we have the schools that are rolled out now, so that we have to learn our own mother tongue now. And for my generation, like I'm 63, our generation that had to stop speaking our mother tongue, we find it the hardest of picking language up again. But our children and our grandchildren and our great-grandchildren that are coming through pick it up just like that, because, children are different. They're either going to learn it or they're not. But, when you're at a certain age, and when it's belted out of you, well, then you're going to quickly learn how to speak whatever it is that you're supposed to be speaking, just to please when we were colonized, when the British came here and took our land and everything, taking our mother tongue was probably one of the biggest feats that ever happened. And so in order to get all that back now, it's been legalised in schools now. The everyday Kiwi, we're called Kiwis if we're not Māoris, which we are. You're called a Kiwi here in New Zealand. Not only is it our native bird, but that's what we're known as on an international level. So now we have our mother tongue. It's been rolled out right down to the daycare centre, which is called kohangareo. And so they learn now from babies up. And I love the fact that my grandchildren can speak the reo. And I'm not saying I'm dumb to the language, but I know, I understand it. But, um, I'm not buckled down to relive the language that I lost. But I get by very well when I'm amongst Maori speaking people. So like I said, I'd really love to know how to speak my language and do a broadcast in my mother, in te reo, that's what it's called, in Māori. But anyway, I do pretty good anyway doing my broadcasts. So I'm very happy that I got the energy. My cousin Sharon Miller said to me, "You must take care of yourself." And I do. I honestly do. Because she knew how rough my day had been. And I've actually just not long got up because my body was just so sore. But I had to, I was thinking about, I don't want to, I don't want to cancel my broadcast. And then so I came to my laptop to have a look, and there was Hannah Du Plessis, first in my broadcast room. Thank you so much, Hannah. And, Bitcoin Scott and Tio Katai. And so, it's people like you that give me the courage to come on and do my broadcast, because I love seeing the interaction of my chat room. And we've come a long way as to how to learn to use our chat room, to using the pop-out chat, and, without having a moderator and all that. And it's awesome. Using 2 laptops. So that's where I am as far as, really wanting people to get on board, lose the be shy in front of a camera, step forward. And there's nothing better than being able to brighten up your day that other people can um, see your energy, see your passion for TBC community, for the community, and for the program itself. It lifts me up. Thank you, Bitcoin Stock. I do appreciate that. Yes, I know I do need to rest and regain my energy, and I will absolutely do that. My I don't know, it just spurs me on to want to get into everybody's broadcast. And I know I miss your spots, Hannah and Bitcoin Scott, and I think, well, you're here at my broadcast. Why can't I get to yours? And it means a lot to me to try and get to other people's broadcasts, because you show up to mine. But the time zones are shocking, and I know even getting up to Randy Wilson's broadcast at 5 o'clock in the morning here in New Zealand, and it's 10 o'clock his time in America, 10 a.m. in the morning. But still, that's the eagerness and that's the passion I have for TBC. But yes, Bitcoin Scott, you're so right. I need to get my energy levels up, and I'm going about that as best I can. I have to watch my diet. I have to watch, especially drinking lots of water during the day, and I'm happy to say it's not tap water. My daughter has a Kangen machine, it's called, and it purifies the water at different levels for different kinds of ailments. And she bought me a 5-gallon bottle of water to go with my lemons because I love lemons. And so having lemon water during the day, it's been 2 days now, and I'm not saying that it's a miracle worker because it's not, but it's a start to giving my body to regain my energy is absolutely right with Queen Scott. I've got to regain my energy without functioning on pills. I'm already on blood thinners, aspirin, tablet for my tummy, and and I don't want to be on a lot of medication. Sometimes a lot of medication can sort of make you feel a bit fuzzy in the head, because I know once my treatment starts, then stuff will be added to the regime of medication that I've already got. Bitcoin Scott, don't worry, we know that sometime you can't, but that's all right. Just keep yourself healthy first in order for you to help anyone else. Yeah, absolutely right, Scott. Bitcoin Scott, and thank you. Thank you, my sentiments, absolutely. Now, I just want to touch on those big new words that we have learned over the last couple of days. One being reciprocity. I had this down packed earlier today. Reciprocity. Reciprocity. Now, what is reciprocity? I'll just put that down. I don't want to share my screen because, but I feel that this was a word that Randy brought into play that I'm happy to. What's happening? Yeah, here we go. Just bear with me for a second, because I like these two words, and it's a bit of a tongue twister, but the meaning of them is actually something I feel that we all need to sit up and take note of. Now, what is reciprocity? Reciprocity is a social norm of responding to a positive action with another positive action, rewarding kinds of actions. Like, I probably haven't put that right, but what it means, if someone has given you value, as Randy does, as I like to think I do, as Bitcoin Scott does in his broadcast, I'll make it to one of your broadcasts, Hannah. Believe me, I will. And Tukutai, we all give value. Now, that value starts in during our broadcasts. So reciprocity means to give to someone who you've gained a lot of positive action from. Example, Randy does his broadcasts, which we all like to be at, and he gives out certain tips during his broadcast, tips that we all feed on, like his going through how to set up a broadcast. And that was very in-depth. And so how would you reward Randy for that? Besides the fact of saying, you do an awesome job, Randy. Thank you for letting us in on your secrets to how you broadcast and how broadcasting is done. And so reciprocity means if you feel that way inclined that you've gotten value from him, then show him how you value that. And how do you do that? Do a transaction with him. Do a transaction with me. If you feel you get value from my broadcast, it doesn't have to be a big amount of, doesn't have to be $100 worth of purchase, just the appreciation of knowing that you've gotten value from my broadcast or whoever's broadcasting. That's a kind act of reciprocity. The old adage, you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. And so you're giving to one another. What's another one? I wrote down, it takes two to tango. One good turn deserves another. We know those lines. You scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. We've heard them time and time again through our lifetime. It takes two to tango. That's something I haven't heard in ages. I used to hear it all the time at one stage. If I got into trouble and you try and blame it on somebody, but you were there as well. Well, one good turn deserves another. And that's what reciprocity means. So, the necessity to enact reciprocity is to show your gratitude for the value that you get from listening to someone else's broadcast, from maybe if I did a one-on-one and that person appreciated the value of my knowledge that I passed on. And so that's why Randy is saying, it's not that he wants you to, he doesn't want to get rich of you. He doesn't want to spend you to spend a whole lot of money on him. It's just the act of giving back if he's giving you value. A social norm of responding to a positive action with another positive action. And I think that's also rewarding kind actions. If someone has given you value and it's advanced you in your endeavours, or social thinking, whatever, then give back to that person or society for their input. You might belong to whatever organisation, Red Cross. Red Cross do a great job every day around the world, global, and people donate. So that's the act of reciprocity, is they donate to the Red Cross and they give it out to those most in need of clothing, food, maybe a roof over their heads, maybe a coat to keep them warm. Those types of things are reciprocity. And, I really do like that word. One good turn deserves another. Now, the other word we learned was meritocracy. What is meritocracy? Well, I didn't know what it was until this morning. A society governed by people selected according to merit. So as we heard this morning, they are going to credit those people with putting them in, leveling them up, that they're value that they put into TBC will be recognised. A society governed by people selected according to merit. Meritocracy. 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 A ruling or influential class of educated or able people. Reward those who go the extra mile. So, and that's TBC admin still doing the utmost to reward you as a broadcaster, as a member of the TBC community. And, it's the belief that leaders should be chosen for their superior abilities, not just for the fact that you say, like even for me, I am regarded as the leader here in New Zealand. And, but I don't take that lightly, because if I don't give value to the people who come to see me, does that make me a leader? Or have I earned it? Have I earned that right? Well, that's what meritocracy will sort out as far as the TBC admin is concerned. So the belief that leaders should be chosen for their superior abilities and not because of their wealth or their birthright, or where they stand politically in the political arena, or their personal orientation, because good work is rewarded with promotions. And that's what I like to think I've done. Meritocracy, good work, thus is rewarded with promotions. So there we have it. Reciprocity, a social norm of responding to a positive action with another positive action. And kia ora, Dr. J. Stevens. Thank you for coming to my broadcast. So, reciprocity, a social norm of responding to a positive action with another positive action. One good turn deserves another, or you scratch my back, I scratch yours. That's a good old time favourite, that one. And meritocracy, a society governed by people selected according to merit. So if I'm selected to be known as the leader here in New Zealand, well then, have I earned that right? I'd like to think so. But if I'm not going to fuss about it. The title of being the New Zealand team leader is that's what it is, just a title. But meritocracy, a society governed by people selected according to merit, which is the TBC admin, or a ruling or influential class of educated or able people, reward those who go the extra mile. And so between the two, reciprocity and meritocracy, they just fit in together. I reiterate that reciprocity, I reiterate that there needs to be absolute respect for the principles of necessity, proportionality, and reciprocity. I know it's a bit of a mouthful, but it all makes sense to me. Meritocracy, a ruling or influential class of educated or able people, reward those who go the extra mile. And so being here in my broadcast today, thank you very much, Joe Stevens. it's not even about earning a title. It's about connecting. It's about giving value. And if reciprocity is about giving to those who give to you, but it doesn't have to be monetary. It doesn't have to be all about monetary gains, because I'm happy just to be here. And I probably am going. I will be going. You know, it's 6:30 here in New Zealand, and that's quite early, but it's dark as. And but yeah, the tinana, Bitcoin Scott, which is my body, it's just not handling things at the moment. So I'm not going to pretend to be any superwoman, because I've got to rest the body as well. But being here and seeing you in my broadcast room, that lifts me up. And to gain the knowledge of someone else, as we do of Randy Wilson and the many other broadcasters. Now, let me say this, and Deria Medlock and yourself, Joe Stevens, and Bitcoin Scott, I try so hard to get the different people's broadcasts. But today it just wasn't going to happen. But I know that, to miss out on your broadcasts is to go back and rewatch. And I do. Because in order to have you here in my broadcast, I thank you all so, so very much. So I'm going to leave it at that. And it's been a pleasure having you all here in my room. Bitcoin Scott, Teokatai Williams, Hannah Duplessis, and Dr. Joe Stevens. Thank you so much for coming along to my broadcast. I so appreciate you all being here. And so this is Julz and Paekau, my broadcast number 62. Now, you can enjoy your evening as much as possible, I hope, because it's freezing cold here in New Zealand. And Bitcoin Scott, you remind me of my grandmother. She's a very strong woman. Don't worry, you just need to keep yourself healthy first. Thank you for that, Bitcoin Scott. And you must have a wonderful grandmother. I'm a grandmother. I'm a great-grandmother. So thank you for that. And thank you, Joe Stevens. And I'll see you all tomorrow. I will be here on my broadcast. And for those who come along and watch my video, all my details are below this video. And I'm so thankful that you were here with me. And I see our sister Teokatai Williams is getting ready for her broadcast. So for now, thank you for coming along. Ka kite anō, and I'll see you tomorrow, 6 p.m. at my broadcast 63. Thank you and goodbye.